Trump's big day.
Because they only give it to liberals.
We don't know that that's going
What
to
about
happen.
the Abraham Accords?
The Abraham Accords was in
And they're
2017.
expanding them right now.
Okay, let me know when they're expanded, and then we'll come back to it when it happens. Rwanda, tell me about what he did in Rwanda.
They've had a 30-year conflict over there. They had him in the Oval Office on Friday afternoon. I mean, they should have. They should.
Well, his application is pending.
What if I told you that all politics are identity politics? And also in this video, we'll break down commentary from both the left and the right, and I'll give you my unfiltered, unbiased, unaffiliated commentary that this platform needs. And we'll go deeper into the Elon Musk and Trump feud 2.0. Allow us to dive in. Allow us to bring this YouTuber on the stage. I think he go by the name of Brian Cohan. He appears to be a leftist. We'll examine his commentary. We'll break it down and we'll see if he's unbiased and unfiltered. Allow us to dive into his conversation.
A major escalation here in the exploding feud between Trump and Musk amid the budget bill drama. So after Elon Musk tweeted on Monday night that he would fund primary opponents to anybody who would vote for Trump's budget bill, and then threatened to start a new political party that would ostensibly draw voters from the GOP, Trump responded, taking to Truth Social and writing, Elon Musk knew long before he so strongly endorsed me for president that I was strongly against the EV mandate. It is ridiculous and was always a major part of my campaign. Electric cars are fine, but not everybody should be forced to own one. Elon may get more subsidy than any human being in history by far, and without subsidies, Elon would probably have to close up shop and head back home to South Africa. No more rocket launches, satellites, or electric car production, and our country would save a fortune. Perhaps we should have Doge take a good, hard look at this.
So basically what he's saying right here, he has some truth to what he's saying. I'm talking about Trump on his post, but also he's not being totally fair with Elon, as you'll see in the video where Elon spoke in 2022 about the subsidies that he was receiving from the government, that if the government was to take the subsidies away from him, that he would actually do better because the government is also subsidizing other EV makers, electric vehicle companies. So again, he feels as if his company, Tesla, is far better than any other EV company out there. And even without the mandates or without the subsidies, that he would actually do better with the selling of his cars. We'll bring him up and allow him to defend himself real quick. Let's see, can we find him on here and bring him up? This is Rand Paul. I'm going to bring him up. We'll find out where he's saying. This is the one where he says what he says. I'm going to share this right here and allow him to defend himself.
But if you eliminated all EV incentives tomorrow, Tesla's competitive position would improve significantly. I'll say that again. If you eliminated all tax credits, EV tax credits, Tesla's position would improve immediately.
So now I don't know that that is a actual reality.
If you eliminated all
if
EV incentives tomorrow, Tesla's competitive position would.
We can't actually prove what Musk is saying is true because that hasn't happened as of yet. However, he does seem confident that his company will accelerate as far as his leverage versus the other electric vehicles companies who are getting these subsidies. So he seemed to be supremely confident in 2022 that he could do it without subsidies, and actually his position would be better without the subsidies because the other electric vehicle companies would not be getting subsidies as well, and then they would have to just compete as they are on their talent. And this is what should be the case, in my opinion, in a capitalist society. We should be competing on our talents. We'll bring this guy back up. We're going to allow him to come back on stage. I saw him preview this earlier. He's going to try to bash Trump. So I'm almost certain that he's a leftist, but he makes a certain statement about Judge Dugan out of, I think, Milwaukee, as to try to prove a point, I'm going to annihilate him on that point just because he's showing that all politics are identity politics, and he's coming from the identity of a liberal left individuals skewing the facts and giving an opinion that is, again, along the line of TDS. Trump has his issues. However, these individuals on the left and on the right, they play the identity politic game. They play the ideology game, and they stick with their team no matter what, right or wrong. And this is the problem that we as Americans face when we sign up for one of these teams instead of being unaffiliated and a free thinker and choosing to go with what is right at the time and what is based in truth, no matter what side it is coming from. Allow us to bring this guy back onto the stage, and we'll allow him to spit a little bit of his rhetoric, and then I'll annihilate his point on this Judge Dugan. He loses some credibility when he tries to use that as an example. So allow him to speak his mind.
The receiving end of threats by the very person Elon helped gain power. And for Musk, it's not just against his business empire, but his very freedom in the United States of America. Trump is essentially saying that he's going to use DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, that Elon himself ran to investigate and potentially eliminate the very subsidies that keep Elon's companies afloat. In other words, Trump created a department, put Elon Musk in charge of that department, and is now threatening to use that same department to destroy Elon's livelihood, showing the extent to which he's not just willing.
Now, he's not telling the truth on that point. If Elon Musk is telling the truth back in 2022 about him not needing the subsidies, and if they take the subsidies away from not only his company, but all the other companies, then his company will have the competitive advantage. Again, we're looking at through the lens of identity politics, and these individuals on the left and the right, they play this game, and keep the truth hidden, and always exacerbates the tension between both sides, leading us to not be able to come close to a society where we can get true things done based off America first, not identity politics of the left and or the right. Allow him to continue.
Willing but proud, openly admitting that he'll weaponize the federal government for his own partisan political vendettas. Just in case you were wondering whether or not he'd do that kind of thing, I think you just got your answer. It's worth reiterating here that Elon Musk didn't just endorse Trump, the guy literally bought Twitter for $44 billion and turned it into Trump's personal megaphone. He hosted Trump's rallies.
We have a little bit of technical difficulties going on. Let's allow this to pause right quick and see, can we get this back together, know what's going on. But needless to say, he's going to go in and he's going to talk about all the people that Trump has fallen out with. And he has a point. He has fallen out with quite a few people. But who hasn't fallen out with people? And especially when you're dealing in high stakes types of engagement with one another, there's going to be falling out. However, this guy goes on to try to point out Judge Dugan out of Milwaukee. This is the judge that allowed the illegal immigrant to go out the back door of her, or side door of her chambers, to avoid ICE when he was scheduled to be in court for beating up, I think, two people, his girlfriend and somebody else. And this is what this judge did. We're talking about Judge Dugan. I believe her name begins with an H, her first name, but you know who I'm talking about. I did a little bit of research on Judge Dugan, and not to my surprise, it is apparently she's unmarried and childless. I have an issue with unmarried and especially childless politicians. Individuals who have not brought birth, have not participated in the bringing forth of life onto this planet, should not be allowed to govern human life on this planet. They did not sacrifice and participate in the most important behavior for the survival of this human species. But yes, they want to be in position to govern the human species. This should not happen. It should not happen on a local level, the state, or the federal level. Justices, judges, politicians, presidents all need to be either parents and or married. They all need to be parents for sure. They need to be married unless they have been widowed. These individuals who you are putting forth, particularly on the left, but you have those on the right too, when it comes to Lindsey Graham, a war hawk, unmarried, childless human being, pushing war, pushing death, pushing for other people's children to be killed, harmed, or maimed in war. This is why I don't ride with that. I don't ride with the idea that this is okay, that these individuals can be politicians. They cannot. They should not be politicians. They have no bloodline leading into the future, so they have no true investment in the future. Therefore, they can make and do things like this Judge Dugan has done. And this individual goes on to try to act as if she's a victim of Trump's vendetta. No, she's a victim of her own behavior, illegally allowing a criminal, an illegal immigrant, to escape ICE and the detention. She obstructed justice, and she's supposed to be a justice. Makes no sense. Allow us to move on just a little bit, and we'll end this video shortly. All right. Let's pull up Scott again and allow him to finish off what it is that he was getting his point across. Again, he's always battling on CNN against liberals. I have my issues with Scott as well when he came about cheerleading Trump bombing Iran. Again, I'm not a fan of some of the things that Trump has done, and I will call him out and stand on what it is that I stand with, that is with what he's doing, and that is with against what he is doing as the president, and the fact that he did mention that he would not get us involved in any type of foreign wars. But to his credit, it is a ceasefire. It wasn't a drawn out war. So I give him a slight pass when it comes to not getting us involved in one of these forever wars, but he still broke the promise of America first. He failed for the Israel first policy, and that's a issue. Allow us to bring Scott back on and battle these delusional leftists who Trump can do nothing right, even when he's doing things right. Allow us to dive in.
30-year conflict over there. Had him in the Oval Office on Friday afternoon. I mean, they should have.
I'll revoke his application.
Okay,
pending.
There's a difference between applying for something.
Wait, now he's helping Israel and Iran
What a peacemaker.
settle this thing after a couple of weeks. I mean, Barack Obama got the Nobel Peace Prize in 2009. He should not have accepted it. But I will remind you all what he did after he got it. He dropped tens of thousands of bombs on several other countries. He ordered thousands of drone strikes, including on an American citizen, vaporizing people. This was probably the biggest non-peace president of our lifetime. And yet he's got his trophy.
Wait.
So again, that's a powerful, powerful statement that he made in regards to Barack Obama, the so-called peaceful, so-called charming, so-called humanitarian president that we had for those years. Again, almost all things are smoking mirrors. Don't allow the rhetoric from the right or the left to confuse you. Do your research, dig into what it is that is the truth, and stand on truth, irregardless of if it's coming from the left or the right. The issue I have mostly is with the left. And again, I'm not a Republican, would never be. I'm not a conservative, would never be. I'm America first. I am not MAGA, make America great again. When was America great for all its people that was in its border, particularly those of us who are descendants of slaves, who are the offsprings of those who suffered under Jim Crowism, who are those individuals who were targeted in the 1980s with the war on drug, the crack cocaine, and all these other things that this government allowed to happen when it targeted black males through the 80s. When it came to I was one of those individuals who I take responsibility for my behavior, but at the end of the day, it was an environment that was set and that was conducive to that type of behavior. And the sentencing guidelines, which Joe Biden and President Bill Clinton helped to establish, the 1994 crime bill, absolutely locked hundreds of thousands of males, black males, and nonviolent offenders up for many years, giving them a punishment that was not equivalent to the crime they committed. And this was a racial type of bill that they passed because they knew who was selling crack and they knew who was selling cocaine. Both of us was wrong. The selling of crack is an egregious act. I deserve to do time. I didn't deserve to do the extreme and inordinate amount of time that they was giving out because of that racialized, racist law crime bill that Joe Biden and Bill Clinton passed, and Donald Trump gave those individuals in 2017 when they passed the First Step Act a way out of the egregious and the vile crime bill that was passed by Joe Biden and Bill Clinton. So who's the real racist here? All right. Again, if you like this information, if you like the commentary, again, it's unbiased, it's unfiltered, it's unaffiliated. We go in, we give you what it is, we break it down, and we do it from a position of neither left-leaning, right-leaning, middle-leaning, no leaning at all. Only truth-leaning is where I come from. Again, like, subscribe, and hit that notification button. Also, I have a fitness channel, Monte's Fitness. The link is in the description. We cover everything from health. We cover type 2 diabetes, insulin resistance. We cover the autoimmune diseases. Any and everything that you want, we cover that. And we give you what is called workout snacks that you can do, that you can follow along. You'll see the videos of those as well. So again, have a beautiful day. Peace, love, and always prosperity. Peace.